Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Burning Conversations. My name is Anastasia Douglas, and we are continuing into Women's History Month. And so last episode, we had one of our prominent female figures around our campus, Dr. Anastasia. Well, today we have another prominent figure, but actually around our city here in Natchitoches, actually, our Chamber of Commerce president, Mrs. Laura Lyles. Thank you so much, Mrs. Laura. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm loving your energy this morning, so I'm happy to have a conversation with you.
So let's jump in. Tell me, what does the Chamber of Commerce actually do? Because as someone who's not from Natchitoches, I don't know. And also explain your role as chamber president. What is it that you do?
Sure. And it's not just Natchitoches, but chambers of commerce all across the country. We kind of work to make our communities better business communities. So just work to make our communities business friendly, make things easy for business to succeed. And so for the Natchitoches Area Chamber of Commerce, our footprint looks like Natchitoches Parish. And all chambers are a 501c6 organization, so not a C3, but a nonprofit nonetheless. And we are fully funded off of membership dues. It's a membership nonprofit. And so we have a number of business and industry and nonprofit and individual chamber members who fund our work. And then we turn around and put that work back into the community. So for our chamber, our mission and vision is to champion community, to connect community, and cultivate growth. Champion business, connect community, and cultivate growth. And so everything that we do, whether it's an event or a networking activity, if it's connecting businesses to resources for their use, or putting out marketing material for the community to attract and retain young professionals or business and industry, all of that has that mission and vision in mind. And then my role as president is basically to ensure that the organization is healthy and sustainable. And so making sure that our members are getting the value out of their membership that they need, and also making sure that we're really making an impact on the community. We find that it is easy to recruit members when our work is impactful. And so part of that is just being really focused on strategic planning and what it is that we're doing, making sure that it's moving the needle in some way that positively impacts business and industry. We do that with a board of directors. I actually report to two boards. So the Chamber of Commerce here also handles economic development for Natchitoches Parish. And that's through a management agreement with Natchitoches Economic Development Alliance. And so I report to the Chamber Board and I report to the NEDA Board. And basically we are working to grow Natchitoches and make it a really thriving business community. And that involves so many different things. So that strategic visioning and reporting to those boards, making sure that the organization itself is healthy and sustainable. In addition to that, it's, managing our employees, managing our volunteers, recruiting volunteers, thanking our volunteers immensely for their help, because we absolutely could not do our work without all of those individuals in the community who just care as much about it as we do and want to kind of roll up their sleeves and do their part.
So you're from Natchitoches. This is your hometown.
I am.
Can you kind of tell us how being from here and then going on the educational backgrounds that you went on helped shape your career now?
Absolutely. Yeah, I loved growing up in Natchitoches. I am a proud product of Natchitoches Parish Public Schools. So I'm an NJH girl, Natchitoches Central girl, and also went to school here at Northwestern. So, I think growing up, I was never the person that was eager to get out of town. I loved it here. My path kind of took me other places, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I went to school at Northwestern for hospitality management and tourism, had an amazing experience, an amazing education. Some of the things that I enjoyed the most were our marketing classes and hospitality law, hospitality management. So it was very much business focused and the business of the hospitality sector. Then I went on after school at Northwestern to work in the hotel industry in New Orleans in 2005. Which is when Katrina hit, and I was in event catering services in New Orleans for the Sheraton on Canal. So one of the two bigger hotels down on Canal, downtown New Orleans. So my plan shifted a little bit, and as a lot of my career path did, I ended up going to get my MBA from Nichols, and that was also a phenomenal experience. I recommend business classes to almost anyone who's going to school, whether they're going to be a doctor or a dentist or anybody like that, maybe running a business someday. Mm-hmm. And so I really enjoyed my classes there. I'll tell you some of the most favorites of mine there were marketing classes and sales classes.
Really?
Yes. It was very interesting to learn the technique and the importance of asking the right questions and listening, rather than just talking and selling what people think of as, selling and telling you how great I am or my product is.
Yes.
I'm going to listen to the needs and figure out the best way to meet the needs with whatever it is that I'm selling. So Nichols was great, and the MBA program there was fantastic. But growing up in Natchitoches, I think what I loved about it is still true today. It's just so incredibly warm and welcoming. This feels like home, no matter whether you've grown up here your entire life or you've moved here, you can find your people. I feel like we're one of the most hospitable cities and communities in the country. Our visitors always tell us how warm and welcoming we are, and that's part of what makes life here so great. You find your people and you're set. You have your support system. So my path then after grad school, I got married to my husband, who works here at the university. He's actually, Chris Lyles. He's in charge of the school STEM. Okay. So we both were in grad school at Nichols and then moved up to Oklahoma for him to get his PhD at OU. So I worked in hotel services there as well in event planning, and kind of randomly found myself in the aerospace engineering consulting industry because it's very, very left field. And, my path kind of goes like this. But there was a company that I was planning an event for at the hotel, and they invited me to join the business. And so I actually used a lot of the information that I learned in my MBA program and in the hospitality program to do all kinds of things like bookkeeping, marketing, managing employees, growing the business, messaging, all kinds of things that I didn't know how they would play into my role that suddenly became very useful. And then we found ourselves back in Natchitoches for Chris's job here at Northwestern. And I have found myself at the chamber. And so all of these things have kind of come full circle to give me exactly the skill sets and the experience that I've needed for this role to be successful for me and for the community so far.
So can you tell me, with the Chamber of Commerce, with the new initiatives that are going to be brought, will it benefit college students?
Yes, that is my hope and my dream and my everyday effort is to benefit our community. And across Natchitoches Parish, Natchitoches, the city, is in the heart of Natchitoches, the parish, and in the heart of the city is Northwestern State University. It is an absolutely critical component to what makes us us and what makes us really marketable and a great place to live and raise a family and work. So some specific initiatives that we're working on, there's so many, but I think that a key geographic area is the entire University Parkway corridor, all the way from I-49 to the Mill District. And I can tell you about a few projects. Now, these will not come to fruition before you graduate, but I know. But the pieces have to be put in place for us to get there, and they take a long time, a lot of planning, a lot of money to get there, investment, recruitment, all those kind of things. So starting at the Mill District, and there's actually a project taking place right now that's just a riverbank improvement project to just beautify, I think, the riverbank alongside the Mill District. So the Mill District is situated right between Cane River in Chaplin's Lake, which is, of course, right next to Northwestern State University. There's these really cool old cottonseed oil plants that were kind of out of commission since, I think, the 90s. And so they've kind of been there, and they're a really great opportunity for us to recruit business that would be perfect for our students at Northwestern, our young professionals, our families even. So there's a lot of different directions that mill district could go. Of course, the anchor business right now is Flying Heart Brewing and Pub. They do a great business there. Our city very smartly created an economic development district there. So when I go have a slice of pizza, a couple of pennies per dollar go towards that district. And so you've seen some improvements, like the city has moved out their public works department to another building. And so there's more room for more commercial retail type businesses there. Riverside Reserve has also been added to that district footprint. You could see things like entertainment type businesses. I know that there are some people who are interested in doing something like a bowling alley or an axe throwing company business. Of course, food and beverage, always going to be popular there. There's a possibility for it to also be a residential development in some areas. And so we're really, as a community, looking at that as a prime piece of real estate and making sure that we step forward, I think, strategically with what it could be. And then moving up University Parkway or west along University Parkway, then we have the Campus Edge District. And we had the great benefit and fortune of being really involved in the Natchitoches Next planning program. So that's the city's comprehensive master plan for the city. And the Campus Edge District is basically, I think, a 4 to 5 block area on the north side of University Parkway, right across from the main gate of Northwestern and LSMSA. And really looking at how our city ordinances require parking that makes it kind of a concrete welcome mat instead of maybe some shrubbery or tree lines or outdoor seating or cafe lights or, sidewalks, walkability, crosswalks, all those kind of things that a real college town needs to kind of have some buzz and activity and commerce, frankly, there that helps fuel all those kinds of developments. So Campus Edge District is a project, and then right across the street, a little further west, is an amazing and very exciting initiative with LSMSA and Northwestern that is Innovation Park. And so the Louisiana School will have a makerspace specifically for their students, for their art and their builds and their engineering and all those kind of things. Wow. Will take place in that building. And then career services and economic development at Northwestern, hopefully the Chamber of Commerce will all move into the Innovation Park so that there's a one-stop shop for students looking for jobs, for employers looking for students, and for businesses to kind of get kick-started in a very cost-effective way. So there will be, shared office space that you could just rent a desk for an hour, for a day, for a week, for a month, to really kind of get a business kick-started. Almost like an incubator, but more kind of co-shared working space. Very, very excited about that.
Yes.
And it's of the 12-acre certified site that Northwestern owns there in the old 9th grade center lot for all of my other Natchitoches folks. There's a few other acres that are developable. And so Innovation Park could be a lot of things 10 years down the road. So that is exciting. Then right across the bypass, there is an effort by our Cane River National Heritage Area to develop that whole corridor as an outdoor recreation corridor. There's a lot of assets already there. So you have Grady Irwin Nature Reserve, which Northwestern owns and manages. And it's a beautiful hike right in the middle of town. If nobody knows about it, it's right across from Nikki's, and I would highly recommend you go check it out. And then the Heritage Area, their headquarters is kind of right next door to that. They're looking at building a children's discovery center. which will be very hands-on for our young professionals, for our families with kids, etc. But you have Northwestern Hills Golf Course, you have Grady Irwin Nature Reserve, you also have Park Natchitoches, and all of these kind of butt up to each other if you looked from a bird's eye view. You have walking trails that are not necessarily open yet, but that have begun to be developed between Park Natchitoches and Grady Irwin. Of course, Park Natchitoches, you've got your baseball, softball fields, soccer fields. People are out there all the time. There's playground equipment, fishing opportunities. There's the pavilions. I know people have those kind of things out there. And then just to the west of that, there's a possibility for the I-49 district was laid out in the Natchitoches Next plan. So I-49 district, of course, is the entire, all four quadrants of the Highway 6 and I-49 intersection. So the southeast corner of that is some land that right now has already been developed. There's Good Day Farms and the medical clinic that's there. And then the rest of that is available for retail development. Behind that is right now all timberland, is kind of slated to be residential development. We have worked really hard to identify what has been identified, I guess, as a critical need for workforce and for students in its residential development.
Yes, homes, apartments.
Homes, apartments that a student can afford, that a professor can afford, that somebody like myself can afford, that doesn't need a tremendous amount of work. There's just not a huge inventory for that. And so we have actually conducted a housing demand study that showed that we needed 536 units over the next 5 years. I was shocked by that number. We know from talking to our business and industry that we don't have enough houses. They can recruit talent here, but if they can't find a home, then it's hard to keep them. So we know that that's a critical need, but that kind of quantified it. So that I-49 district is slated as all kinds of residential development, from apartments to townhomes to single-family homes, high-density units that are more duplex and apartment complexes, as well as low-density units that are, more of an executive-type purchase. So those are just a few things that are on the horizon, and I feel very much that there's a row of dominoes that are set up and we're ready to knock them down and just really see this place change for the better. Natchitoches is so special, and we don't want to change what makes us unique and special at all.
Yes.
But we do have a serious need to grow our population. And so some of those things I think will do that and support the university. And to in a long way answer your question, I think there's a lot going on that will benefit NSU students.
Absolutely.
Attracting businesses that y'all want to go and support.
Yes, and I think they're going to be very excited. But for me, unfortunately, probably when all those things take place, my time at Northwestern will be up. But would you say probably for the next future demons here at Northwestern in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be some of those initiatives and plans growing and being here already?
Well, I missed one on the outdoor recreation corridor. It's Darkwoods Adventure Park.
Oh, yes.
That's in that whole corridor. Those guys are amazing rock stars. They've already launched those kayak kiosks. So you can go to Chaplin's Lake, you can go to Cane River at the Washington Street Boat Launch, and I believe there's also a kiosk on Sibley Lake, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So you can go and I don't remember if there's an app, or you can kind of check out your kayak on your phone, go and do your kayaking, and then come back and put it up. Very cool. They also, in just a couple of weeks, are opening Buccaneer Bayou putt course.
Really?
It is so impressive. They have invested a tremendous amount of money and a tremendous amount of time, blood, sweat, and tears into their park. And so, they started as a Halloween kind of scare park. It's very cool. Then they evolved into, they have the Lost Treasure Mining Company, where it's very kind of kid focused. You can go and mine for gems and shark teeth and very cool stuff. And then they have Christmas in the Park they evolved into that. And the next phase of their investment is Buccaneer Bayou. And this is like vacation level putt-putt. They have all the features and the water features and the rock walls and all the cool things. So I would recommend anybody listening or watching to download the Go Natchitoches app, and their grand opening is going to be detailed out there. I want to say it's the last Saturday in March. March 29th is going to be their big open house. So, I mean, students, I feel like, will love that tremendously.
Absolutely. I know I have a terrible neck cough. I can't do
Me
that.
too.
I am,
you don't have to win to have fun, Anastasia. You're good.
I'm not a good shot, though, but I definitely know there will be some people who are going to be extremely excited for that opportunity. So, is that what excites you the most about these new plans going forward? Or are there other things that, like, just make you super, super happy, make you scream and shout? So I read that you're a businesswoman and you're a mother, and you have to manage, family life and work life. So how are you able to navigate that and continue a work-life balance?
Yes, it is very difficult to do. And, life is challenging for everybody, whether you're a parent or not. And adding children to the mix adds a layer for sure. And I think what I have learned over the years is how important understanding boundaries are. And I think personally that boundaries should be a bit flexible. I have kind of a hard and fast rule to not do a lot of work after hours because that's my family time. And if I can't give them my attention and get their attention and have that time with them, then literally my kids are growing up before my eyes and they're going to be gone before I know it. And so I'm not interested in wasting that time working to deadlines that will still be there after my kids are gone. That said, there are some things that in any job I think that are truly critical, that are somewhat emergent, and so I make exceptions for those kind of things. And people that are really, my people and in my corner, and we kind of understand each other and have each other's backs, and those are my ride or dies. And so I'll take those calls after hours if we have some urgent things going on, and that does happen. But for the most part, I try to keep work during work hours. It's very, very important because you can just drown in trying to catch up, and you will never catch up. That's important to know, is that work will be there whenever you come back.
The next day.
It will be. It sure will.
So what would you say is your absolute most favorite part about being chamber president?
Oh, gosh. So I'm an innovator. If anybody's done the Emergenetics profile, there's 4 quadrants, and the tasks oriented person and I are typically on other ends of the spectrum. So what's very cool about being chamber president is I can really look at the community and see what the needs are and come up with ways to solve problems. And we can activate a business community, a volunteer community, etc., to move the needle on those things. That is very rewarding for me, and I think that it gets me up in the morning, and it really is a passion of mine. It drives me. So that's the one thing. But I'm going to take 2 and say working with people I just really, really enjoy. Sometimes our social battery can get depleted, but absolutely, at the core of what I am passionate about, truly working with people and getting to know them on a personal level is very enjoyable for me. And I have made so many lifelong friends and partners and colleagues through this role that really have been my support system in a lot of ways, and also people who have challenged me, which is also very, very important. People who, iron sharpens iron? I think that's it. You surround yourself with people who are better than you, and then you become better. And people are important to have in your life. And I think I'm very fortunate to be in this role and get to work with so many different kinds of people who bring so much to the table and to the community.
All right, Ms. Lord, thank you so much for being here, taking time out of your busy schedule, I know, for coming and talking with me. I know I've learned a lot, and I hope the people who watch this have learned a lot as well. Guys, this will conclude our episode of Burning Conversations. Just a heads up, Current Sauce still has their Women's History Month edition of their newspaper out right now. You can check them out at various locations around our campus. Tune in for a new episode of Burning Conversations very, very soon. Thank you, guys.